Hey, you guys, welcome back to the channel. And if you're new here, welcome. We're doing another recap video, Ready to Love, Season 6, Episode 8. This one is Operation Meet the Homie. So, before we jump into this and unpack all of this stuff that happened in this episode, if you are new here, hit that subscribe button, turn on your notifications. If you like the video, smash the like button and drop a comment down in the comment section below. So, without any other further ado, let's jump into this. So, what we did see is another person self eliminate, and being that that's the case, they kind of got a few of them of what's left kind of scrambling to figure out what to do next. So let's talk about how, of course, we got to see the women meet the homies of the guys. So with Paul, Carmen, and Dakia, um, and look like it seemed like Tina ducked out. Paul has his friend Chill Bill. Now they get to meet, or he get to meet Carmen and Nakia, which, as usual, Carmen is definitely talking crap. And though it may be cute and all, especially her telling Chill Bill, who has potentially been friends with him since elementary school. They go all the way back to fifth grade. They are going to call him Paul and not POJ. I'm like, okay. The other thing that both Carmen and Dakia made one thing clear in this whole visit with Paul's friend is that they are the alphas at the job and they don't want to be the alphas at home. So they want to take that hat off, the boss hat off that they have at work, and come home and not have to do that. That's cool. But you know what? It's going to be interesting to see is that if they do choose Paul, can they actually get that from him? That's the other thing. So let's talk about these other folks. So now Sabrina, she got her hands full. She meets Demetrius and his friend Ken, which is his best friend. What we hear Ken says to her is that Demetrius likes a submissive woman. Now, I know for a lot of women, the word split and submissive can be a triggering word. And it's also triggering for her because it's a problem for her. Following that, she did meet Tori's best friend, Ashley, who goes by Ash. And while, they had a little cute date and what all, the problems come from is where Ace didn't show up. And Tori did call her, but Sabrina was sitting there and, he didn't really care. He was just like, let me see what's up. And it definitely made her feel some kind of way. Um, yeah, I don't see a connection with Tori and Sabrina. It's just not there. I mean, and then now to make things worse, Tori is unsure about her too, even to the point of calling her indecisive. Ace isn't into Tori either. She, as we all know, because Laverne is gone from the previous episode, she wants Laverne. That's probably why Ace is not there. And of course, we find out later that she self eliminates. But this leaves now Sabrina going out with Donovan. Now, of course, this is done with Tina, who seems really overwhelmed by, with dating so many people, which kind of allows Sabrina to have the shine with Phil. Because remember, Phil is the one that supposedly at this point in time is still with, what's this lady named Sydney from season 5. But he does ask him some questions, all of which doesn't lead Phil to kind of tell Donovan which one he should pick. Since the other issue is Tina has a 2-year-old, just as much as Sabrina wanting kids, but Donovan already has 2. So I don't know how they're gonna figure it out. Look like the kids are the common denominator in this situation. Um, but yeah, they're having some issues to figure that out. I honestly, Sabrina, the question is, you want to be the alpha, in the relationship, it seems, from what we heard, because, she didn't like the submissive thing when it came to Demetrius. Question is, if she got with Donovan, is that going to be what he's looking for too, or vice versa? We'll have to see what happens with that. Now, this brings us to Clifton, Joy, and Dakia. Now, they have a very pleasant date with them meeting Clifton's best friend, Kenny. Now, while Dakia's interactions with Carmen, they kind of look kind of shady, Joy and Dakia both made it clear that Clifton would choose whoever he wants to choose. And, of course, I don't know if that would have been a good strategy, because now it's making him have to make, well, I mean, honestly, it would be a good strategy because of the fact that he needs to make a decision of which one, and I think they don't want to, per se. I think one of the girls said they didn't want to compete. So it'd be interesting to see who Clifton is going to choose. I honestly think he has a better compatibility with Joy. I mean, the Kia is sweet, but there is the worry that she may try to tell him to calm down when he gets on a roll rather than kind of join in. Ultimately, that's definitely going to cause some problems. So let's talk about Tori, Demetrius, Clifton, Donovan, and Paul. So now, being that Ace is out of the picture because she's self-eliminated, it kind of eases the things for these guys who seem to be torn between Tina, Carmen, and even the Kia. But while, these men get away with not having to eliminate anybody this week, the power flips to the women next week, which, with it being, I guess, the way everything is set up, we're getting ready to go to the end. So where does that leave these guys, since they kind of, are still in limbo about who they want, whereas these women are definitely going to try to make it real clear of which one of these guys are not ready to love next week. Now let's kind of bit talk about Joy and Dakia and Carmen. So what happened between Joy and Dakia is pretty much what, this show tend to promote: people who are aware that their interested party likes someone else and it doesn't matter much to them. I mean, they do have their own journey, and, whatever another man or woman does to them, it just doesn't seem that important with what, they have when it comes to the person they want to pursue. However, the way that the show is set up, the reality of who they cast is what we get with Dakia and Carmen regarding people who see this more of a competition. And of course, that leads to all of the drama and the cattiness sometimes that we see, and sometimes, if not outright insults. I mean, this type of stuff has kind of made reality TV the way it is on most of these TV networks. But what's crazy to see is that since the show sometimes want to paint itself as something more highbrow than maybe how everybody else do it. I mean, but how many reality shows out there actually really survive without that type of drama that a character brings? You know what I'm saying? So it's pretty interesting. But I gotta say, I want to talk briefly about Ace, because I know I saw in the comment section there was quite a few people who was had their say about Ace self-eliminating. And, she was like, why would I stay on this journey? If I'm not interested in anybody else, why waste my time and just go out on random dates and possibly lead somebody on? So I think that was actually pretty mature of her. He could have just stayed to play the game just to get to the end, which is what a lot of the fans accuse some of the past cast members of doing. Oh, you just wanted to get to the end of the season just to get, photo cred, right? But she's like, nope. You know what? The person that I was interested in, he's gone. Obviously, that was Laverne. She didn't have any other connections. That whole thing with Tori crashed and burned. She didn't have a connection with him. She wasn't going to waste his time. So, hey, I gotta give it to her. I really like the fact that, she was mature enough for leaving since, you know, it's not like most people would do that. They would try to just stick it out. But, it was clear to her that she wasn't going to use Tori as a backup plan to Laverne, which, if she didn't see herself with them, why fake the phone? So I got to give it to her for that. So, you know, um, I think we tend to would like to see more than that. What's interesting though is that when they came to the liberation with Tommy, he acted like he didn't even know that Ace had left the show. And I will say, I also like the fact that Ace did come back to give Tori an explanation too. I don't want to blow past that because he was like, "Look, what happened? What's going on? You were supposed to meet me on a date to meet my friend." And Ace was like, "You know what? I'm sorry. I should have contacted you or whatever, but I'm also not going to break the phone with you. I'm not going to lead you on. I'm not just on the show to get to the end. You know, my interest is not 100% in you. I don't want to waste your time." And I think more people should do that instead of waste other people's time. And Tori was a good sport about it. I mean, maybe he really didn't, he might didn't take it too well at the time, but hey, she was mature enough to give him the conversation, and to bow out gracefully without, up there on a date when she truly wasn't interested in this guy. So I know people didn't like what she did, but I honestly think it was the right thing to do. I think making decisions on who you want and being intentional is important. And if there's nobody there who you are connecting with, don't waste the other people's time who they can move on and make connections, right? And be able to, get to know each other and you move yourself out the way. I'm okay. I mean, hey, I don't see a problem with it. But let's talk about what could happen next. So remember, the women have the vote next week to eliminate somebody. I think it possibly is going to be between Tori, Demetrius, and Donovan. Well, Tori for one thing, because I really think none of those women really 100% feeling him. Unfortunately, he seemed like a nice guy. I follow him on Instagram, and he seemed to be pretty positive. It's just the connections are not there. The only thing I could see with Demetrius maybe at the bottom is because of Sabrina. Because Sabrina mentioned at that table that he wants a submissive woman, which don't usually go well with women unless you are a person who's a traditional woman. A lot of women might not like that. So if she bring that up to the table, they might eliminate him as well. And Donovan, I think the issue that might come up is the fact that he has kids, but he doesn't want kids. He's open to it, but that's not the top of his priority. So, and the other thing is, one of the ladies, was it Carmen? I think they got a 2-year old. So that's the other issue as well. So those three might be in the bottom. Now, on the next go around for the men, the two that might be out is Carmen and Tina. And it's probably, if Paul is still there, he's going to bring up that whole thing about how he what she said to his friend. I don't think he took well to that about saying, "Oh, you're gonna call him Paul." So, and then at the end, I really still think that I mean not Carmen, Clifton and Joy definitely has a chance, a good shot. I actually think they're gonna go all the way to the end. Paul and Dakaya, probably. And then if Sabrina is still around, we'll have to see. I mean, whoever deals with Sabrina, remember she said she want to lead, and I know a lot of men in the Facebook groups were like, "Okay, well, if you that type of woman who want to lead, are you going to be able to respect the man that you with who going to allow you to do that? And if there's a bump in the night, you're going to be the one to get up and see who's at the door." It was some interesting comments from both sides, both women and men. So I found that interesting. I want to share that with you guys. So we'll see what happens as we get to the end of the season. So I hope you enjoyed this Ready to Love season 6, episode 8 recap. Like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you in the next video. Bye.